Hi everybody, welcome to this discussion which is about very important aspects of some chapters, and today it is the reproductive system, especially for ICSE board students because they are having their biology papers very shortly, and the idea is that they should not miss anything because you never know from where the questions are coming, from which chapter and from which part. So the more prepared you are, the better it is. So with that idea, I am talking about the fertilization in human reproductive system. And what is fertilization? We all are aware of that the fertilization means the fusion or the union of the male gamete, that is sperm, and the female gamete, that is the ovum, to form a zygote. So this is fertilization, but where it is taking place? It takes place in the oviduct in the female. So that is the site of fertilization, that is the fallopian tube. So sperms have been released, and these sperms in millions, and they are being propelled upwards, swim upwards because of the tail, and the randomly sperm strikes with the mature ovum, hits the mature ovum, and the fertilization takes place in the oviduct. So the mature egg has been released from the ovary. So how it is moving through the fallopian tube? Because of the ciliated epithelium of the oviduct, it is helping the ovum to move towards the uterus, and also the liquid, inside the fallopian tube is also helping in this movement. So that is how the uh, ovum is moving in the fallopian tube, and also the peristaltic contraction of the muscles of the oviduct is helping in this movement. So this is how the ovum is moving, and by chance sperm can hit this mature ovum and fertilization can take place. Once the fertilization has taken place, zygote is formed. Then what will happen to this zygote? So naturally, this will start dividing again. It will start dividing, and finally, what will happen? Your blastocyst will be formed. So from the unfertilized egg, which is a uh, single cell, and then it will then it will start dividing and form the morula, and from morula to trophoblast, from trophoblast to blastocyst, and blastocyst, from the blastocyst, actually this blastocyst is implanted in the uterus, in the endometrium. After say 3 weeks, an embryo is formed, and then from embryo fetus will be formed, say after 8 weeks, and then the infant will be developed, infant will be formed. So this is the course of development. After the zygote is formed, what will happen? The zygote will start dividing, and it will form morula, and then still the cell division will continue, and from morula trophoblast will be formed. From trophoblast, blastocyst will be formed, and this attachment of this blastocyst with the endometrium is called the plantation. So this is the plantation where this blastocyst is getting attached to the uterine wall or to the endometrium, and at the infant stage only limbs appear, and there is some similarity with the human being, and the birth takes place after 40 weeks. So this is the development, students. And now we can also talk about the twins, the identical twins, and the non-identical twins. So identical twins means two offsprings identical. Here the fertilized egg splits into two and each develop into a offspring separately. So these offsprings are identical. They are having a common placenta, and they will be essentially of the same gender. Both will be boys or both will be girls. So this is identical or the identical twins, and non-identical twins or fraternal twins. Sperms, different sperms will combine or fuse with two different eggs. So if this happens, then the twins will be there, but will be non-identical. So they will be just like other brothers and sisters. They will be different from one another. They will not be identical. So this is non-identical twins. And about other terms, some other terms like embryo, yeah, and offspring growing in an egg, a progeny growing in an egg or in its mother's body is called embryo, and hatching ends the embryonic stage in animals other than mammals. And fetus, what is the fetus? In mammals, the stage when an embryo starts to have the appearance of a fully grown or developed offspring is called a fetus. Embryo starts to have the appearance of a fully grown individual or developed offspring, then it is called a fetus. So these are about the development of from the zygote, and some certain terms. And now there can be some other important terms also, like homologous organs. The ancestral this thing origin can be same, but the functions are different. So they are the homologous organs in male reproductive system and also in the female reproductive system. So the male reproductive organs, the testis is homologous to which organ of the female reproductive part? It is the ovaries. Now vast difference of the male reproductive part is homologous with which part of the female reproductive organs, that is oviduct. And similarly, scrotum in the male reproductive part is homologous with the labia majora. So this is the homologous parts of both these systems, male as well as female reproductive organs. So this terms you can come across these terms somewhere in any examination or during your studies. And then placenta, you are aware of the connection between the mother and the fetus. That is a disc-like structure which is called the placenta, and placenta is connected with the fetus through your umbilical cord. So these two terms, placenta and umbilical cord, also you have to remember. I will go through some lines to help you, and this is the villi from the placenta. What does it do? It protrudes into the uterine wall, while capillaries in the placenta are connected to an artery and veins which run into the umbilical cord from the embryo's abdomen. The umbilical cord, what it is doing is tough structure that serves as a blood vascular connection between fetus and uterine wall. So this is the connection through umbilical cord. So nourishment and also for excreting out the waste from the fetus. This is the arrangement. The maternal blood carries nutrients, as we all know, oxygen also, hormones and water to the placenta, while they are absorbed and passed on to the embryo through the blood vessels of the umbilical cord. In return, the waste products of the embryo are brought to the placenta and transferred to the mother's blood, which the wastes are excreted to the mother's blood through the kidneys. So this is what is happening between the umbilical cord, between the mother and the fetus through the umbilical cord. Nourishment as well as excretion from the fetus. And there is another very important term that we have to remember. It is the water sac or amnion, which completely surrounds the embryo, except at the thick umbilical cord. The amniotic fluid, what it is doing, it is protecting the embryo. It has to be protected. See, just in the uterus, the embryo is developing. So how it is protected? It has to be protected from any jerk or any shock, etc. So that is protection is being done by the amnion or the amniotic fluid. Okay, prevents the fetus from sticking to the uterine wall also. So this aspects also I wish to cover, and then your menarche and menopause. Menarche is the first menses. So you can recollect the menstruation cycle. So it starts with the menstrual cycle, that is the menstrual bleeding. When the progesterone level is going down, the fertilization has not taken place. So what will happen? The uterine wall will shed off, because the wall by this time has become thick to receive the fertilized egg, or in the form of a blastocyst, just now we saw. So this does not happen. So what will happen? The thick uterine wall will shed off in the form of blood and mucus. So that is the menstrual cycle, or the bleeding, the menses, which will last for 3 to 5 days. After this, again, you see the follicle stimulating hormone from the pituitary gland will be produced, and the levels of this estrogen progesterone will start increasing, especially the estrogen at this level, and the ovaries, in the ovaries, the follicles will start maturing, and Graafian follicle will be appearing, and in this Graafian follicle, egg will mature. One single ovum in one cycle will be released. So this is the ovulation, which happens on the 14th day in a 28-day cycle. So this Graafian follicle has released supposing it released a mature egg, then the remaining part will become a yellow mass, and it is called the corpus luteum. And corpus luteum, the hormones are produced or secreted. So these are the female hormones, your estrogen and progesterone. So this is the function of the corpus luteum. So student, this is the menstrual cycle going on, and after this ovulation takes place, again this luteinizing hormone is secreted by the pituitary gland, and the secretion of the level of progesterone increases, and the uterine wall again prepares itself, becomes thick, and again prepares it for implantation, to receive the fertilized egg or zygote, which has become the blastocyst. So this is the complete cycle, and it is normally for 28 days. Menarche is the first menses, which usually happens at the age of 12 in the female, but that does not mean that the ovulation will also start. Ovulation starts after 6 to 9 months of the menarche. And menopause is the total stoppage of the menses, because what happens is the response to the follicle stimulating hormone, the hormones produced by the pituitary gland is not there, so ovulation will stop. So naturally, this process is disturbed, and the cycle will not be completed. So the menses stop, totally stop. That is menopause, and it happens at the age of 45 to 55 years in females. And the female egg is the largest cell in the human body, and the smallest cell is the sperm cells. So this all you have to just remember. And then we coming to the other important aspect, that is the medical techniques in reproduction. So we all are aware that some medical techniques are also used for reproduction. Various medical techniques like the test tube babies, artificial insemination, and fertility drugs and embryo transplantation have been developed to help couples who are not able to bear, who are incapable of bearing children by the natural process. So these are the some techniques like the test tube baby, the artificial insemination, etc. In test tube babies, what is done? They are produced by collecting egg cells from a female and sperms from a male and allowing them to fertilize outside the body in a test tube or a small dish. And artificial insemination, the semen collected from the male is introduced into the woman by means of a syringe at the time of ovulation. So these are some of the important methods that are used for in the medical techniques where the couples are not able to not capable of childbearing, are incapable of bearing children by the natural processes. So these terms also you can remember. So in any form the related questions can come. I think up till this is quite okay. And the cry of a newborn, you can remember also, the crying is the very critical for life of a newborn baby, because by crying only the first breath is taking, because the air is swiped in, it sweeps, it sweeps the first breath of air into the lungs of the baby. The cry is sweeping the first breath of air into the lungs of the baby. So this is the first vital sign that everything is okay. That is the child, when the newborn child cries because of this reason. Okay, so I think this is quite okay, quite sufficient. And gestation, always remember, it is the term of the full growth of the fetus inside the uterus, and it is how many days? 280 days, slightly over 9 months. In general terms, it is called the pregnancy, but in medical terms, it is called gestation. So don't get confused whenever there is a term like gestation. Okay. All right, students, I think this is enough for this chapter, and I am wishing the very best for your exams for this year, and also in all the exams which are going to happen in the future. Thank you so much. God bless you all.